What if your anger didn't need to be eliminated to make your life work? What if, instead of trying to snuff it out, you could turn its heat into clear, right action at home, at work, and online? Think of 3 moments. You open a message that says, "Fix this mess." Heat surges, fingers hover over the keyboard. Or it's late. Your teenager walks in hours after curfew. Your heart pounds. Words load like arrows. Or you scroll past a post that insults everything you value. Your jaw locks. Your thumb is ready to fire. In moments like these, the cost of a bad move is real. Trust, reputation, sleep, the example you set. And yet, the energy of anger is also real. What if that energy could become courage instead of collateral damage?
Imagine this as a series of still paintings. In a candlelit council chamber with tall columns and vaulted arches, a figure in deep blue robes stands steady while others around the table gesticulate in heated debate. The warm glow of candlelight softens stern faces. Shadows gather in the corners. Outside, a stone courtyard glows with evening amber, draped with ivy and carved facades. In another scene, a smith in a simple tunic leans over a glowing forge, sparks rising like stars. The heat he controls becomes strength. Here's the promise of today. We will not ask you to be a statue. You can feel everything and still act wisely. The wisdom we'll explore, drawn from the Bhagavad Gita in clear, modern English, maps how anger arises, how it hijacks judgment, and how to interrupt the chain before it runs your life. Then I'll give you simple, step-by-step tools to use this very week. By the end, you'll know exactly how to cool the surge, keep your values in the driver's seat, and turn heat into clean strength. Take one steady breath. Let's begin.
First, the map. The Gita describes a precise chain reaction that leads from fixation to ruin. Attention fixates on something. A craving or tight attachment forms. It must go my way. They must do this. When that desire is blocked, frustration ignites. Frustration hardens into anger. Anger creates delusion, clouding all judgment. From delusion comes a loss of memory. You forget who you are and what you value. With your reason lost, poor actions follow, and you head toward your own ruin. In plain English, anger itself isn't the enemy. Being controlled by the chain reaction is. Freedom begins by noticing and breaking the chain early before anger drives the car. Anger is information. Often, it points to a blocked value, fairness, safety, respect, honesty. When you treat anger as a messenger, you can ask, what value is threatened here? Then use its energy to defend that value with clarity and care. But when anger gets the steering wheel, vision narrows. You forget your own standards. The result is heat without wisdom. So the pivot is this. Your true measure is not whether you feel anger, but what you do with it. Judge the quality of your action, truthful, kind, and firm, not the intensity of your feeling. Offer your best action for the real good of all involved and release the need to control other people's reactions. That paradoxically makes your action more effective and protects your peace. 3 key ideas support this pivot. Even-mindedness. Praise or blame, success or setback, treat both as information, not verdicts. Let feedback refine you without defining you. Even-mindedness is not numbness. It is steadiness that keeps your values in charge when pressure spikes. Picture a marble balustraded balcony at sunrise. Light and shadow share the same stone. Neither claims the building. The inner witness. There is a quiet place in you that can notice urges and stories without being dragged by them. From that seat, you can see anger is here, instead of I am anger. That 1-inch step back is the space where freedom lives. Imagine a cloistered walkway under arches. You stand in the cool shade, watching weather cross the courtyard. The weather changes. The arch stands. Right action over control. You are responsible for your words, your tone, your boundaries, your follow-through. You are not responsible for the exact outcome or other people's timelines. Do what is true and helpful. Stop trying to micromanage results. The grip relaxes. Clarity rises. In a fresco-lit hall, a calm envoy in red and gold speaks once, clearly. The room settles because the message is clean, not because he shouts.
It also helps to recognize your current state of mind. We move through 3 broad qualities. Clarity, which is calm focus, where decisions feel clean. Restlessness, which is agitated urgency, where you want to move fast and prove points. And heaviness, which is foggy and sluggish, where you avoid and stew. Before you act, nudge yourself toward clarity. 1 slow exhale, 1 brief walk, 1 honest motive check. Small shifts prevent big messes. Let's correct 3 common misconceptions right now. Detachment means not caring. No. Detachment means caring about right action more than about controlling the outcome. It protects love from becoming control. Picture a gentle hand releasing a tether in a sunlit courtyard, not abandoning the horse, simply letting it drink without a choke. Spiritual people don't feel anger. Not true. They feel it fully and use its information without letting it own their choices. The goal is mastery of anger, not absence of it. Imagine a saintly figure in simple robes, candlelight on their face, eyes clear, not blank, clear. If I'm calm, I'll be a pushover. Calm is not weakness. Calm strengthens clarity and leverage. Firm kindness lands better than force. See a scale carved in wood. On one side, a heart. On the other, a flame. Balanced. Hold 2 images as anchors. A stone lighthouse on a stormy coast. Winds howl, waves crash, the lamp keeps shining steadily. That's your values. And a smithy. Steel in the fire, then hammered and cooled. Heat transformed into strength. That's your anger tempered into courage. Now for the deeper framing that ties the map together. The problem is not feeling. It is fixation plus identification. When attention clings, I must have this. They must do that. Frustration is guaranteed. Anger then narrows vision, and we forget our own standards. The spiritual move is to expand attention again. Remember your values, widen the view, and choose from the part of you that is steady, even when the weather is wild. Detaching from the outcome is not evasion, it is strategic humility. Results involve many factors beyond your control. Take full responsibility for the quality of your action, truthful words, fair boundaries, quick repairs, and let outcomes unfold. People can hear you better when you stop gripping them. Over time, these choices temper your character like steel in a smithy, heated, hammered, cooled, and strengthened. Anger's heat becomes courage. Your aim becomes service. Your presence becomes safe and strong. Here is a compact toolkit you can use in the heat of the moment and in the week ahead. Choose 2 to start today.
The first tool is to name, normalize, and narrow. First, say silently, "Anger is here." Then add, "It's a signal. I don't have to act from it." Finally, name one value at stake, like respect, fairness, safety, or honesty, and one next clean step. Use this immediately when the surge hits, before speaking, sending, or deciding. If your mind wants to argue and blame, keep the words short and literal to anchor the witness. If you can't find a value, choose respect as a default and proceed. This practice interrupts the reactivity chain early, steadies attention, and aligns your next move with your values.
The second is a physiology reset. First, adjust your posture. Unclench your jaw, lower your shoulders, and plant both feet. Then focus on your breathing. Inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6 for 6 to 8 cycles. Finally, move. If the charge is high, take a brisk walk or do wall push-ups or 30 to 60 seconds. Do this before you speak or hit send. In meetings, you can do a micro version with just the breath and posture adjustments. If it feels awkward in public, use a sip of water, a bathroom break, or just slow your breathing to reset discreetly. If you forget to do it, pair it with a visual cue, like seeing your hands on the keyboard or your phone in your hand. This will lower your heart rate, clear mental fog, and reduce regrettable words. Next is the clear request formula. It has 4 parts. First, state the fact. When the deadline moved without notice, our team worked late and quality dipped. Then make a request. Please flag changes by noon the day before. Finally, confirm. Can we agree to that for the next 2 sprints? Use this after you've cooled down, not in the middle of a surge. If you find yourself slipping into accusation, write it out first, read it once, then deliver it. And be specific. Ask for one specific behavior and time frame, not attitudes or motives. This formula shifts the conversation from blame to a solution, increases cooperation, and creates a clear agreement. Another tool is the boundary script and follow-through. First, decide your line. I will discuss this when voices are calm. Then state a consequence you control. If shouting starts, I'll step away and resume in an hour. Finally, follow through kindly and consistently. Use this when a pattern repeats or a line is crossed. Script it when you are calm and deliver it simply. If you face guilt or pushback, keep your voice warm, repeat the boundary once, and then act. Don't debate it. If you forget to follow through, put a reminder on your phone or calendar. This protects your dignity, lowers drama, and builds trust in your word. The next tool is to repair quickly. First, acknowledge your behavior. I'm sorry for my tone. Then name the impact. It made it harder to hear the point. Then state what you learned and your next step. I'll cool down first, then make one clear request. Offer a small amends if needed. Do this as soon as you're steady enough to be sincere. If shame triggers over-explaining, keep it under 90 seconds and don't add a but. If you fear losing ground, remember that repair strengthens your position by restoring trust. This rebuilds connection, models accountability, and frees your attention from rumination. You can also design your inputs. First, do an audit. List your top 3 outrage sources, then mute or limit them for 1 week. Next, add clarity inputs, consistent sleep, morning light, movement, and focused work blocks. Finally, create buffers. No late-night replies. Draft messages and send them in the morning. Do a 10-minute setup on Sunday and review it weekly. If you feel a fear of missing out or work pressures, frame it as a 1-week experiment and inform teammates of your response windows. If you relapse, use app limits and place tempting apps off your home screen. This leads to fewer triggers, a steadier mood, and more mental space for wise action. Finally, conduct a weekly anger debrief. Once a week, log 2 incidents: the trigger, the story you told yourself, your body sensations, your action, and the result. Map the chain reaction and identify the earliest breakpoint you missed. Then, choose one micro-experiment for the next week and celebrate one small win. Do this at the same day and time each week, and protect that time like a meeting. If you find yourself avoiding it or being self-critical, keep your tone curious, not judging. Look for patterns, not villains. If you forget details, jot quick notes on the day incidents happen. This turns life into practice, reveals your patterns, and builds visible progress over time.
Let's walk through how to see the tools in motion. Imagine a work scenario. You receive a terse message: fix this mess. First, you say to yourself, anger is here. The value is fairness and quality. The next step is to clarify specifics. Then you reset your body. Your jaw unclenches, shoulders lower, you take 6 slow breaths. Finally, you make a clear request. Thanks for flagging. Could we review 3 specific issues so I can address them? I'll propose fixes by tomorrow at noon. For future changes, can we agree to flag them by noon the day before? The outcome shifts from blame to collaboration. You kept your standards without a fight. Visualize a Renaissance council table, you in steady posture, others softening as clarity fills the candlelit room. Now, a home scenario. Your teen breaks curfew again. You cool down first. No lecture at 1 a.m. In the morning, you set a boundary. Curfew is 10. When it's missed, car keys pause for 3 days. If you want planning help, I'm available Sunday evening. You follow through kindly and consistently. If you snapped, you repair your tone and keep the boundary. Over a few weeks, the drama lowers and ownership rises. Visualize a quiet breakfast in a stone-arched kitchen. The tone is warm, the line firm. Finally, an online scenario. Outrage bait appears in your feed. You say to yourself, anger is here. The value is truth and respect. The next step is one constructive question or no engagement. You choose either a single helpful comment or deliberate silence to protect your clarity. You keep your energy for places where it truly helps. Picture a lone scribe in a candlelit study, pausing before ink touches parchment.
Let's ground this now with a brief centering. Sit as you are. Unclench your jaw. Let your shoulders lower. Place both feet on the floor. Inhale slowly for 4. Exhale for 6. Again, 4 in, 6 out. Silently say, anger is here, or tension is here, or calm is here. Just information. Ask, what value is actually at stake? Let one word surface: respect, fairness, safety, honesty. Now ask, what is one clean step that serves this value today? Perhaps a clear request, perhaps a boundary, perhaps no engagement. See yourself doing it with a steady tone. Hold 2 closing images like Renaissance paintings. First, a lighthouse carved in stone on a stormy coast. The lamp glows gold against deep blues and grays. Be the steady light, not the wave. Second, a smith at the forge. Steel glows. Hammer rises and falls. Water hisses.
The heat that once threatened to scorch is now shaping strength.
When anger appears this week, separate the signal from the surge. Cool first, then communicate. Make one clear request, one calm boundary. Repair quickly if you slip. Design your inputs. And once a week, learn from real life. If this served you, share one story in the comments. A boundary you set kindly, a clear request you made, or a repair you offered, and what changed. Tell us which life challenges you'd like guidance on next: workplace friction, parenting under pressure, or tough conversations. This community learns together. You don't need a different nervous system to live with wisdom. You need a practiced pause, a remembered value, and one clean step. Feel everything. Act from what's right. Then let the results unfold. That is how anger becomes courage, and how your clarity becomes unstoppable.